Hey guys, it's Tina and I am back. And of course, I am here to represent all of the island gal them. Rihanna, big up yourself, large up, good gal. Riri. So of course I had to do this, right? Like, I had to. Rihanna and DJ Khaled and Bryson Tiller just did their new video for Wild Thoughts. And first of all, I love the song. Yes, I love the song. It ton up. And I loved the makeup and the look of the video. I loved everything about it. So of course I was inspired to do one of her looks. There are two specific looks in the video. One where she's, you know, in the blue with the charcoal smoky eye with the inner pop of teal. I want to do that one too. Let me know if you guys want to see this. But the look that I really wanted to do was this one where she had the little bandana and she had to do her thing and she had ton up the place. So I'm gonna take these off because of course you want to see the look, but you saw the look in the beginning. It was kind of hard to see exactly what she was wearing on her eyes because she had the glasses on most of the time, but when she did like the close-up shots where she turned to the side, you could see like a smoky outer V and a bunch of glitter on the lid. And then when she did the close-up shots in the car when she had her eyes down, you could definitely see the bronzy glitters. So I went ahead and replicated the look based on what I was seeing. So if you want to see my version, my inspiration from the Rihanna Wild Thoughts music video, then stay tuned and I'll talk to you soon.
Alright guys, so as usual, I am starting off with a clean, freshly washed face, and the first thing I'm going in with is some moisturizer. This is the L'Oreal Hydrogenious Oil-Free Moisturizer. I love this moisturizer and it keeps my skin hydrated without being too greasy. Now I'm going to go ahead and fill in my eyebrows, and as usual I apply a primer around my brows just to make sure that the products will apply nicely and easily and it will last all day. Then I'm going in with my brow pencil. This is the Brow Beater pencil from Urban Decay in the shade Dark. And I'm going to use this pencil to lightly outline the shape of my brows starting at the arch and at the very top. And then I'll also use this pencil to fill in any sparse areas, any gaps. And I'm using very light hairlight strokes to create a very sharp outline, but it's still a very subtle outline to my brows. And I'm making sure that I extend the tail end of my brows where I have the most sparseness. Now I'm going to grab this Brow Gal palette in the shade Dark, and I'm going to grab the two lightest shades on my Paula Dwarf eye definer brush, and I'm going to use this powder just to fill in a little bit more of my sparse areas, just to give a little bit more density to the actual hairs in my brows while remaining very soft and subtle. Now this product is a wet or dry product, so I'm going to get a little bit of my Smashbox Primer Water Spray on my very fine angled brush from Smith Cosmetics, and I'm just going to use this product to very carefully add a little bit more shape and definition to the top side of my brows and also to the tail end of my brows. You can use this product almost like a brow pomade, but I find it gives a softer look to the brows. Now I'm going in with my primer potion. This is the Urban Decay Anti-Aging Primer Potion, and I'm going to use this to prep the lids for eyeshadows, and it's going to help prevent creasing of the eyeshadows throughout wear. Now I'm going in with my concealer. This is the Naked Skin Weightless Complete Coverage Concealer, and I'm using a lighter shade. This is Medium Warm, and I'm just applying that directly under my brows. It's going to act as a highlight and help to clean up the shape of the brows. So I'm going in with a concealer brush. This is the Anastasia number 18 concealer brush, and I'm creating a very sharp detail shape underneath my brows, and again this is going to create the base for our very bright blinding highlight that we need under that brow area. Then I'm going to go ahead and grab my Real Techniques Deluxe Crease Brush to further blend out the excess product across my lids. And I'm going to use this as a little bit of an eyeshadow primer as well. So I'm making sure that I brighten up that inner tear duct area and buffing it all over to remove the excess and just create a very light layer of this product all over our lids. Once we have that in place, I'm going to grab my La Prairie Cellular Treatment Loose Powder and just tap that all over my lids to set the concealer in place and also act as a blending space. What this is going to do is absorb any excess product, any excess moisture from our concealer, and just set a nice blending space for our eyeshadows. Now I'm grabbing the Pure Cosmetics Soiree Diaries eyeshadow palette. This is a neutral palette, and I'm going in with the shade Gala and Socialite mixed together. These are just two neutral matte caramel shades, and I'm buffing that in my crease area using my Eddie Funkhouser large crease brush, and I'm just going back and forth. I'm almost creating a straight line in my crease. I'm tilting my head back so I can really concentrate on that crease area. Then I'm going in with the shade Splurge, which is a deeper neutral brown, and I'm doing the same thing, just slowly building up dimension. I'm almost creating a straight line directly in my socket. So I'm feeling where the hollow of my eyes are and then just going back and forth to build up a little bit of depth. Now we're going in with this orangey brown shade, that's Stunner. It's a very pigmented shade, so I'm slowly building it up, not trying to over intensify this brow bone area just yet. I'm just creating a little bit of shadowing for now. So we're just going back and forth, windshield wiper motions to create that shape. And then I will go in with the darkest shade from the palette, which is Epic. This is a matte, deep, deep dark brown. And I'm using one of my Chikuhodo I think this is the T9 blending brush. And I'm just going to create very dark shadowing, again, following the hollow of my eye socket. So you see I'm building up the depth and dimension, and then I'll pull a little bit of that down into my outer V area and outer crease using circular motions just to create a little bit more depth and dimension in that eye socket and crease area. And I'm using those buffing motions just to make sure we deposit enough color. Now I'm going to grab the shade Glitzy, which is the shimmery dark bronze shade. I'm using a Sonia Kashuk eye shading brush, and I'm just applying this directly on the eyelid area and building up the intensity. This eyeshadow is very pigmented and very nice, so I'm just building up the dimension, and then I'll go into the deep dark bronzy shade from the palette and use this on the outer lid area. So I'm just building up a little bit of smokiness, but this is a shimmery shade, so I'm making sure I keep below the crease, and then I'll go in with the Eddie Funkhouser brush and just blend around the edges. Now I'm grabbing this shade from Bobbi Brown. It's the shade Espresso. It's a rich, deep, dark, chocolatey brown, and I'm applying this like I would apply a liner with this pencil brush just on my lash line area. And then I'm gonna grab a black pencil. This is the Skinny Smolder Eyes from Tarte in the shade Onyx, and I'm just gonna run it on my upper lash line area, keeping on the outer upper lash line just to create a little bit of smokiness and depth. And then I'm gonna go over it with the pencil brush from Eddie Funkhouser just to smoke that out, because we don't want to create an actual line. I'm using this just to create a little bit of depth and smokiness on that outer lash line area. And then I'll go over with the Espresso eyeshadow just to build it up and again create that smoky effect. You want to really darken up this area so it looks like you have liner on, but it's just eyeshadow. It's not really eyeliner. And then I'll go back in with a little bit more of the Espresso shade on my blending brush from Chikuhodo and just create a little bit more depth now in that outer V and outer crease to create a sharp dimension, because you could see in the video that she had real definition on that outer V area. And then I'll go back in with the Eddie Funkhouser brush just to blend around the edges, just to make sure we don't have any harsh lines left behind. Now we're gonna go in with some glitter, because she was definitely wearing glitter in the video. This is one of the Magnificent Metals Glitter and Glow eyeshadows from Stila. This is the shade Smoky Storm, and I'm just applying that on the center of the lid to give a pop of shimmer, and then I'll go over it with the pencil brush just to make sure we blend out the edges and there is no like harshness left behind, because this glitter can be a little bit harsh, but be careful when blending this out because it can create a lot of fallout all over the eyes. So I'm just making sure that it's nice and blended across the eyelid. And then I'll go in with my highlight. This is Rice Paper from MAC. It's a bold, shimmery, light champagne shade. I'm applying that directly under the brow because she did have an intense underbrow highlight. So I'm using my MAC 252 large shader brush just to apply that and blend it downwards onto the brow bone area. And I'll make sure that I blend out the edges because, again, we don't want to leave any harshness behind. We just want to have a bright highlight. Now for the inner tear duct, I'm going in with a pencil brush from e.l.f. and popping the same color on that inner tear duct area just to brighten up that space, just to make sure that we bring a little life to that inner tear duct area. And then to brighten it up even further, I'm going in with another glitter from Stila. This is the shade Diamond Dust, which is the very light, shimmery, kind of silvery holographic glitter. And I'm just popping that on the inner tear duct area because she was also wearing a very bright inner tear duct highlight. And again, just go around the edges of the color using the pencil brush just to make sure it's nice and seamless on that inner tear duct. Now let's go ahead and apply some mascara. This is my Too Faced Better Than Sex, and I'm just going to make sure I have a nice full coat of mascara on those upper lashes. And then for my lashes, I'm going in with these style Chanelle from Minked lashes. These are very light, fluttery horsehair lashes, and they're very light. And Rihanna wasn't really wearing any bold eyelashes. She was wearing a very simple style just to give a little bit of volume, but not too much length, and they definitely were not overwhelming the look at all. Now that the eyes are done, I'm going to work on the face. I'm grabbing my Laura Mercier Candle Glow Foundation. This is the shade Pecan. And I'm grabbing the powder from Urban Decay. This is the Velvetizer. So it's meant to be mixed with your foundation to give a little bit more coverage and to make your foundation a bit more velvet or matte. So I mixed in a little bit of that with the foundation. And I'm testing it out to see how it goes. So I'm just buffing that all over my skin. I started out with a NYX buffer brush, but I decided to go back to my tried and true Marc Jacobs The Face 3 brush just to apply this foundation all over my skin. And the powder actually does give a little bit more of a matte finish to the skin. And this foundation is very glowy, so it did help to mattify it a little bit. But I don't know that it's a must-have product. It's really just kind of a gimmicky product. Now I'm going in with some concealer. This is, again, my Urban Decay Naked Skin Weightless Complete Coverage Concealer. This time I'm using the shade Dark Neutral. And I'm applying this around my mouth as well as under my eyes to cover up the darkness because we are going to go in with a very bright, bold red lip. So I want to make sure my skin is relatively flawless, but I'm not going for fully beat face because Rihanna wears very light foundation. She doesn't blank out her skin or anything. And then I'll blend that out. I'm using this new sponge from Flower Beauty. It's a beautiful sponge. It's really soft and it feels really comfortable and squishy, and I really like it, and it did blend out my concealer pretty well. And it's $9 or $10 at Walmart, so I definitely recommend picking this one up if you were looking for a good substitute for the Beauty Blender sponge. Now I'm going to go ahead and set my face in place. I'm using this Flawless Finish powder from Charlotte Tilbury. This is the shade Dark, which is the darkest shade they have. So, excuse me, Charlotte. But I'm going to press that into my skin using my Tarte Cosmetics Powder Player Brush. And this really makes your skin look flawless. I was very happy with the finish. I don't know if I would consider it better than my Urban Decay powder foundation though, because the Urban Decay one just gives you a flawless finish, but it's being discontinued, although I have backup on backup on backup. But this powder is pretty nice too. Very pricey, but nice. Now I'm going to contour a little bit using my Becca Multitasking powder. This is in the shade Dark Golden. And I'm using one of my Sonia Kashuk face brushes to create a sharp line to my contour area. Rihanna was definitely wearing contour for sure, but it wasn't really intense or too sharp because she doesn't, again, go with anything too chiseled on her face. So I'm trying to make sure that I blend that product out, and then I'll apply a little bit of that to my temple area as well, just to give a little bit of definition and blend it into my skin. Next, I'm going in with my blush. This is a very subtle blush because it looks like she was wearing a very subtle blush. So this is Gingerly from MAC, which is my go-to natural blush for my skin. It's a very natural, almost bronzy shade with a hint of rose to it. So I'm just blending that over my skin using my NARS blush brush. Then I'll go in with a little bit of highlight. This is from Tarte Cosmetics. It's their 12-hour Amazonian clay highlighter. This is the shade Stunner, and I'm popping that on the high points of my cheeks using this fan brush from IT Cosmetics. I recently got this, and I really like the shape of it and how fluffy it is. It's not like a skinny, scratchy fan brush, so I really like it. And she was definitely wearing highlighter, so I'm making sure that I pop that on, and then I'm going to blend it out because I really don't like harsh highlighter on my skin. Now we're going to go ahead and finish up the eyes. I'm using my lower lash mascara. This is the MAC Extended Play Giga Black Lash Mascara. And I'm just popping that on my lower lashes to make sure they stand out against my lash line. And then for my lower waterline liner, I'm going in with my Tarte Cosmetics Smolder Eyes eyeliner again in the shade Onyx, just to add some depth and darkness on that lower lash line area. And then to smoke out the lower lash line, I'm going in with the deep dark shade from the Pure Cosmetics palette and the bronzy shade, and just running it along my lower lash line. And this is just going to add a little bit of depth, a little bit of smokiness, but nothing too overwhelming. And then I'm going to the lips. For my lip liner, I am using my Ruby Woo lip liner from MAC. Rihanna loves her matte bold red lips, so much so that she created her own shade with MAC. So I am definitely going to use that shade for my lips. But first, it's a very sharp outlined lip. So I have to go in with my lip liner just to create the dimension and the shape. Just to make sure we have a very, very defined outline to the lips. And I'll even go in and fill in a little bit of the lip line. For the lipstick, of course, I'm grabbing Riri Woo from MAC. Yeah, of course I'm gonna grab this. You could also use Ruby Woo, but of course I am very convinced that she is using Riri Woo, which is a bold matte red. It's a really vivid bright red, and I really love this shade. And again, Riri Woo and Ruby Woo are very similar shades, but I find that the Riri Woo is a little bit of a bolder red. So I'm making sure that I fill in my lips with this color, and then I'll go in with a lip pencil just to make sure that we outline the shape and that it is very sharp and defined. With a red lip, it looks great when you have that crisp outline and that crisp shape to it, especially when it is a matte shade. So I'm using the Smith Cosmetics lip brush, which I really love for this kind of detailed work. Now I went ahead and put on my headscarf, the glasses, the earrings. Like, I'm really trying to replicate this look. And I really, really love how it turned out. It was difficult to see what the look was like under the glasses, but I really think she was wearing this smoky, bronzy brown eye with glitter and glitz, and of course the bold matte red lips.
Alright guys, so here's the completed look. Let's just toss the glasses on for good measure, because that was what the look was all about. And I absolutely love it. I was just so inspired by the whole look. And it looked like a very simple makeup look. She was very highlighted, but her skin was very simple. And of course, the signature Riri Woo lipstick came out. Riri Wee 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 Woo. The signature Riri Woo lipstick came out, and I definitely had it in my collection, so I definitely pulled it out. And I really love how this overall look turned out. I really, really love it. It's a bunch of glitter, but it's still like smoky and sultry, but not too overwhelming. And then you pop on the bold lip and the outfit and the whole thing. But hopefully you guys enjoyed this Get Ready With Me makeup tutorial inspired by the Wild Thoughts music video. And as usual, I'll leave a full list of the products used in this video down below in the description box, along with links on where you can pick them up. Those links tend to be affiliate links, most of them, because I can generate affiliate links from Sephora, Ulta, and Nordstrom. So those are the usual websites that I will populate my affiliate links from, which means if you make a purchase through those links, I will get a sales commission. If you're not okay with that, then definitely go ahead and shop the way you normally shop. But if you do shop through my links, I definitely appreciate the support, because it does help me to put back into the channel. I will also leave my links to my Instagram and Twitter account, where you should definitely be following me along. And until my next video, which will be very soon, I'll talk to you. Bye guys.